The massive holographic projection appeared simultaneously over every major city on Earth, casting an eerie blue glow across the terrified faces of billions. The alien message was clear, precise, and deeply unsettling. People of Earth, the Galactic Council has determined your world requires immediate integration. Your species lacks the development necessary for independent governance. You have 48 hours to accept our terms. In Washington, D.C., President Robert Miller stood at the Situation Room window, watching the giant hologram ripple through the clouds. His military advisor, General Michael Anderson, entered the room with a tablet displaying rapidly incoming reports from across the globe. Mr. President, we're getting similar reports from every nation. The message is identical in all languages. Russia, China, and the European Union are all requesting an emergency video conference. The president nodded grimly. Get everyone online. We need to present a united front. Within hours, the world's most powerful leaders gathered virtually, their faces showing varying degrees of concern and anger. The Chinese premier spoke first, his words measured but firm. This is unprecedented. We cannot simply surrender our sovereignty to an unknown power. The Russian president agreed, his fist hitting his desk. We must show strength. Earth will not bow to threats. As they debated their response, the Galactic Council decided to demonstrate their power. Without warning, every satellite in Earth's orbit went dark. Global communications began to fail, piece by piece. Only the emergency quantum channels, unknown to the public, remained operational. The Indian Prime Minister's image flickered as she spoke through one such secure line. They're toying with us, showing us how easily they can cripple our infrastructure. Military bases worldwide went on high alert. Radar stations tracked massive objects entering the solar system. A fleet of ships larger than anything humans had ever built. They positioned themselves in a perfect geometric pattern around Earth, their hull designs defying conventional physics. President Miller called for a vote. We all know what's at stake. Do we submit to their demands, or do we take a stand? The vote was unanimous. Earth would not surrender. The Council's response came through their hovering holograms. Your defiance is noted, but meaningless. Your military capability is primitive. Your technology is centuries behind galactic standards. We had hoped for compliance, but we are prepared for resistance. Their scans of Earth revealed exactly what they expected. A relatively young civilization with basic spaceflight capabilities, nuclear weapons, and conventional armies. Nothing that could threaten their advanced technology. But the Council's scans missed something crucial. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, behind quantum shielding that made it invisible to their sensors, an emergency meeting was taking place. In a massive underground facility, unknown to the public, military leaders from every major nation gathered in person. Project Titan is ready, announced Dr. Thomas Wright, lead scientist of the Global Defense Initiative. We've kept this secret for 70 years, ever since we found the crashed scout ship. Everything we learned, everything we built, has been leading to this moment. The gathered leaders watched as massive screens displayed Earth's hidden capabilities. Reverse-engineered alien technology, improved upon by decades of human innovation and determination. Weapons that could challenge even the Council's mighty fleet. General Anderson stepped forward. They expect us to be primitive. They expect us to be divided. That's our advantage. While they see nations squabbling over petty differences, we've been working together in secret since the Cold War, preparing for exactly this scenario. The Council's ultimatum had less than 12 hours remaining when they detected something unusual. Small groups of humans were gathering in open spaces worldwide, seemingly in prayer or meditation. The Council observers dismissed it as a primitive species accepting their fate. They were wrong. The gathered humans were positioning themselves precisely, creating a global network of quantum entanglement, strengthening the hidden defense grid that spanned the entire planet. Each group included military personnel and scientists, disguised as civilians, making final preparations for humanity's response. As the deadline approached, the Council's flagship transmitted one final message. Your time has expired. Prepare for integration. The humans' response came not in words, but in action. The quantum defense grid hummed to life, invisible to Council sensors, but ready to demonstrate that humanity was far from defenseless. Earth had played weak, played primitive, but the Council's arrogance was about to cost them dearly. In underground bases worldwide, soldiers and pilots prepared for battle, their weapons and vehicles incorporating technology the Council believed impossible for Earth to possess. Humanity had learned long ago that appearing weak while secretly being strong was the greatest tactical advantage of all. The Council never expected resistance. They certainly never expected what was coming next. They had no idea that their arrival was not going to be a simple subjugation mission, but rather the beginning of their own downfall. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Thomas Wright stood before a massive screen displaying real-time data from the approaching Council fleet. Behind him, rows of technicians monitored systems that had been developed in absolute secrecy for decades. The story of how humanity prepared for this moment began in 1952, when a research team in Antarctica discovered something impossible buried in the ice: a crashed alien scout ship. The world's leaders, despite their public rivalries, recognized the implications immediately. They created Project Titan, a global initiative hidden from the public eye. Status report, Dr. Wright called out to his team. The underground chamber hummed with energy as advanced computers processed data using quantum algorithms derived from the recovered alien technology. All systems operational, reported lead engineer Mark Wilson. The quantum shields are holding. Council scans still show only what we want them to see. He gestured to another screen showing the fake data being fed to the alien vessels. In similar facilities worldwide, other teams were activating systems that had taken generations to perfect. The recovered scout ship had provided more than just technology. It had given humanity a glimpse of what was out there. And the knowledge that they weren't alone had driven unprecedented cooperation. Below the Pacific Ocean, massive underwater hangars stirred to life. Hidden fleets of ships, built using hybrid technology that combined human innovation with reverse-engineered alien systems, waited for the signal. Their crews had trained for years in secret, preparing for this exact scenario. The Council's scans missed these preparations completely. Their arrogance led them to trust their initial readings. They saw only conventional military bases, primitive nuclear weapons, and basic space stations. The quantum shielding technology, perfected over decades, showed them exactly what they expected to see. In Washington, President Miller received a secure transmission from the Antarctic facility. Project Titan is fully operational, Mr. President. All global defense systems are ready. Our hidden fleet awaits your command. The President looked at the gathered Joint Chiefs. How many years have we maintained this secret? General Anderson answered. 73 years, sir. 3 generations of soldiers, scientists, and leaders keeping the biggest secret in human history. Every nation contributing resources, knowledge, and personnel while maintaining the illusion of division. The recovered scout ship had revealed a harsh truth. The galaxy was not a peaceful place. The Galactic Council ruled through force, subjugating species they deemed inferior. Earth had used this knowledge to prepare, all while appearing to be just another primitive world. In orbital facilities, hidden behind quantum shields, weapons systems powered up. They were based on the scout ship's technology, but improved by human ingenuity. Where alien weapons relied on brute force, human engineers had found ways to make them more efficient, more precise. The Council's final warning echoed through global communications. Your defenses are useless. Submit or face extinction. Dr. Wright smiled as he read the message. The aliens had no idea that their own technology, improved upon by decades of human innovation, was about to be used against them. The quantum shields weren't just hiding Earth's true capabilities. They were part of a weapon system more advanced than anything the Council possessed. In bunkers across the planet, soldiers boarded vehicles that looked conventional on the outside, but contained hybrid technology within. Fighter pilots climbed into aircraft that could match the performance of council ships. Everything had been disguised, hidden in plain sight. The recovered scout ship had taught humanity another crucial lesson. The council's technology, while advanced, had stagnated. They hadn't faced real opposition in centuries. Their tactics were predictable, their strategies unchanged for generations. "Final systems check," Dr. Wright announced. On his screen, green lights indicated ready status from facilities worldwide. Quantum-entangled communications ensured their coordination couldn't be disrupted. The council ships moved into attack position, their sensors still showing only primitive defenses. They had no way of knowing that every move they made was being predicted and countered before they made it. In the Antarctic facility, Dr. Wright received the final authorization code. 73 years of preparation, of secret development and training, had led to this moment. Humanity had woken the giant, and the Council was about to learn just how badly they had underestimated Earth. The quantum shields rippled with energy as the final preparations were made. Underground bases, underwater facilities, and orbital platforms waited for the signal. Humanity had played weak, played divided, but that deception was about to end. The Council thought they were starting a simple subjugation mission. Instead, they were about to face the most prepared and determined resistance in their history. The Council fleet descended through Earth's atmosphere with supreme confidence. Their massive ships, each the size of a small city, moved in perfect formation. To their sensors, Earth's defenses appeared pathetically inadequate. A few primitive missile installations and radar stations. On board the Council flagship, Commander First Rank Dex observed the approaching coastline of North America. Begin the standard subjugation protocol. Disable their primitive weapons first, then their power infrastructure. The first wave of Council ships deploy their energy weapons, targeting what they believed to be Earth's primary military installations. The beams of light streaked toward their targets and passed straight through them. Impossible. Dex shouted as his tactical display erupted with warnings. The holographic targets flickered and vanished, revealing they had been firing at quantum projections. Beneath the deception field, Earth's true defense grid activated. Thousands of quantum-linked weapon platforms emerged from hidden bunkers, mountains, and ocean depths. Each one carried weapons reverse-engineered from the Antarctic scout ship, but enhanced by decades of human innovation. Multiple energy signatures detected. A Council officer screamed. "They're everywhere." The first volley from Earth's defense grid struck with devastating precision. Hybrid missiles carrying quantum warheads phased through the Council's energy shields as if they didn't exist. 30 ships erupted in flames before they could react. Impossible. Dex clenched his fist on the command console. "Their technology is primitive. Our scans confirmed it." A human voice crackled through their communication systems. "You really should have scanned deeper." It was General Anderson, speaking from the Antarctic Command Center. "Did you really think we wouldn't prepare after finding that scout ship?" The Council fleet scrambled to regroup, but Earth's defense grid had been precisely calibrated to disrupt their formation tactics. Every time they tried to establish a defensive pattern, quantum weapons struck from unexpected angles. From underwater bases across the planet, Earth's hidden fleet emerged. Ships that appeared to be normal naval vessels transformed, quantum shields dropping to reveal hybrid technology that matched or exceeded Council capabilities. "Sir," a Council tactical officer's voice shook with disbelief. "The humans, they're using our own weapons against us, but they're more advanced than our current systems." Dex watched in horror as another wave of quantum warheads bypassed their most advanced defenses. The Council fleet had lost nearly a third of its ships in the first hour of combat. Nothing in their tactical databases suggested this level of resistance was possible from a pre-contact civilization. Earth's ground forces joined the battle. What had appeared to be simple military bases revealed themselves to be sophisticated quantum warfare centers. Every piece of seemingly primitive human technology had been a carefully crafted deception. They'd been planning this, Dex realized too late. Every scan we made, every weakness we detected, they wanted us to see those things. The quantum defense grid continued its relentless assault. Council ships found their energy weapons reflected back at them, their shields bypassed, their advanced targeting systems confused by quantum interference. From his command center, General Anderson coordinated the global defense. Pattern Alpha 7, he ordered. Show them what humanity can really do. The defense grid shifted tactics, implementing combat algorithms developed through decades of studying Council warfare patterns. Each human counterattack exploited weaknesses the Council didn't even know they had. Full retreat. Dex finally ordered, but it was too late. Earth's quantum weapons had already boxed in the remaining Council ships. Their standard escape vectors were blocked by overlapping fields of quantum disruption. In just 2 hours, the mighty Council fleet had lost nearly half its ships. The survivors were trapped, their advanced technology rendered nearly useless by human countermeasures they never expected to face. The voice of President Miller echoed through every Council ship. You came to our world expecting to find an easy target. Instead, you found a humanity that has spent 70 years preparing for this moment. Your choice is simple: surrender or face complete destruction. Dex stared at his tactical display in disbelief. The supposedly primitive humans had completely outmaneuvered them. Their weapons were familiar but enhanced in ways Council engineers had never imagined. Their tactics showed intimate knowledge of Council warfare doctrine. The surviving Council ships powered down their weapons. They had arrived expecting a simple subjugation mission. Instead, they had walked into the most devastating military defeat the Council had suffered in centuries. As Earth's defense grid held the remaining Council ships in its grasp, one thing became absolutely clear. Humanity's appearance of weakness had been its greatest weapon of all. The massive underwater hangar doors slid open silently beneath the Pacific Ocean. Commander James Stone stood on the bridge of the Earth's flagship, the Titan's Fury, as his fleet prepared for humanity's first offensive strike against the Galactic Council. All ships report ready, Commander, his executive officer reported. The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, their training for this moment evident in every movement. Quantum drive systems are charged and synchronized. Stone nodded, his eyes fixed on the tactical display showing their target. The Council's primary military base in the Centaurus sector. Begin Operation Thunderbolt. Execute jump sequence on my mark. The human fleet had remained hidden during the initial defense of Earth, waiting for this precise moment. Now, with the Council reeling from their unexpected defeat, it was time to show them humanity's true offensive capabilities. Quantum tunneling coordinates locked, the navigation officer announced. The technology, derived from the crashed scout ship, but refined by human innovation, would allow them to bypass the Council's defensive networks completely. All ships, execute jump, Stone commanded. The fleet vanished in a cascade of blue light, reappearing instantly behind the Council's defensive lines. The move was tactically impossible by Council doctrine. No species had ever mastered quantum tunneling at this scale. The Council's response was chaos. Their sensors detected the human fleet too late, their defensive grid oriented in the wrong direction. Before they could react, the first wave of Earth's attack was already underway. Launch hybrid fighters, Stone ordered. Squadrons of aircraft emerged from the fleet's carriers, their design a perfect fusion of human intuition and alien technology. Where Council fighters relied on predictable attack patterns, human pilots introduced chaos theory into their combat maneuvers. The Council's command center erupted into panic as their carefully planned defenses crumbled. Human ships approached from vectors their tactical computers deemed impossible. The fighters executed maneuvers that defied their understanding of physics. Target their primary power distribution nodes, Stone directed. Use the quantum disruptors. The weapons fired, their effects amplified by decades of human refinement. Council shields, designed to stop energy weapons, proved useless against technology they thought they alone possessed. The battle unfolded like a complex chess game where one player had suddenly changed all the rules. Council commanders tried to implement standard combat protocols, only to find each one countered before it could even begin. "Sir, they're attempting to call for reinforcements," the communications officer reported. Stone allowed himself a small smile. "Let them. Phase 2 begins now." Throughout Council space, other human fleets emerged from quantum tunnels, striking key military installations simultaneously. The Council's rigid military doctrine, unchanged for centuries, had no provisions for such widespread, coordinated attacks. The Titan's Fury led the assault on the main base, its weapons systems demonstrating capabilities that shocked the Council defenders. Where their technology focused on brute force, humanity had developed precision and efficiency. "Their defense grid is collapsing," reported the tactical officer. "They're falling back to secondary positions." Stone watched as the Council forces retreated in disarray. Their mighty warships, symbols of their galactic dominance, proved vulnerable to human tactical innovations. Each engagement revealed new weaknesses in their centuries-old combat doctrine. "Launch the infiltration teams," Stone commanded. Special Forces units, trained in hybrid warfare techniques, deployed from the human ships. Their mission was to capture Council technology intact, adding to Earth's already impressive arsenal. The Council commanders found themselves facing an impossible situation. Their enemies seemed to know their tactics better than they did, countering each move with devastating effectiveness. Humanity's apparent primitive status had been a masterful deception. "Sir, we're detecting quantum signatures from their remaining ships," the sensor officer called out. "They're attempting emergency jumps." "Let them run," Stone replied. "They'll spread the word. Earth isn't the easy target they thought we were." The battle ended as quickly as it began. In less than 6 hours, humanity had destroyed or captured one of the Council's primary military installations. The surviving Council ships fled through conventional jump points, their quantum drive technology now seeming primitive compared to Earth's enhanced version. Stone stood at his command station, watching the cleanup operations begin. Humanity had spent decades preparing in secret, studying Council technology, improving upon it, and developing counters to their tactics. Now that preparation was paying off in ways even they hadn't fully anticipated. "Send word to Earth Command," he ordered. "Phase 1 of Operation Thunderbolt is complete. The Council's military superiority is a myth. It's time to show the galaxy there's a new power rising." The human fleet regrouped, preparing for their next strike. The Council had awakened a sleeping giant, and now they would face the consequences of their arrogance. The most secure Council data center on Proxima Station buzzed with normal activity until every screen suddenly flickered and went dark. When they reactivated, a simple message appeared: "Your secrets are no longer safe." Inside Earth's Cyber Command, Director Alan Reed watched as his team of hackers executed the most ambitious cyber warfare operation in human history. For decades, they had studied the recovered scout ship's computer systems, learning their weaknesses, preparing for this moment. "All teams report successful penetration," his lead technician reported. "We're inside their primary networks." They never expected anyone to crack their quantum encryption. The Council's overconfidence had left gaps in their cybersecurity, gaps that human ingenuity had exploited. The first wave of data began flowing through quantum channels back to Earth. Financial records, military reports, and most importantly, evidence of the Council's systematic oppression of dozens of species across the galaxy. "Look at this," Reed pointed to a stream of decoded files. "They've been manipulating member species against each other for centuries, creating artificial conflicts, controlling resources, suppressing technological development." The Council's internal communications erupted in panic as they realized the extent of the breach. Their most secure networks, protected by technology they believed unbreakable, were being stripped bare by human hackers. "Begin Phase 2, Reed ordered. "Upload the truth packages to every communication hub in Council space." Across thousands of worlds, Council propaganda networks suddenly began broadcasting something very different. Evidence of corruption, secret files detailing centuries of manipulation, proof that the Council had deliberately held back technological advancement to maintain control. On the mining worlds of the Orient sector, slave laborers watched in disbelief as records of their deliberately engineered poverty were displayed on public screens. In the industrial systems of Taurus, factory workers learned how the Council had suppressed their technological development to maintain dependency. "Sir," a technician called out, "we're detecting widespread communications from multiple species. They're starting to rise up." The Council's emergency channels filled with reports of unrest. On dozens of worlds, previously subjugated species began attacking Council facilities. The carefully maintained facade of benevolent leadership crumbled in the face of undeniable evidence. Reed's team continued their digital assault, using techniques developed through decades of preparation. Where Council systems relied on brute force security, human hackers employed subtlety and creativity. They didn't just break through defenses, they turned the Council's own systems against them. "They're trying to lock us out," an analyst reported, implementing new security protocols. Reed smiled. "Let them." Execute Operation Mirror. The Council's attempts at cybersecurity backfired spectacularly. Each new defense they implemented had already been compromised, their code rewritten to create even more vulnerabilities. Human virus programs, evolved far beyond anything the Council had encountered, spread through their networks like wildfire. On the Council's capital world, their leaders watched in horror as their control systems failed one by one. Emergency shutdowns only made things worse, each attempted fix creating new problems. They had never faced an opponent who understood their technology better than they did. "Sir," Reed's deputy called out, "we found something big. Files about their first contact protocols. They've been deliberately provoking conflicts with developing worlds, giving them an excuse to intervene and take control." The revelation was immediately broadcast across Council space. Species that had believed themselves safe by Council intervention learned the truth. Their conflicts had been engineered, their surrender predetermined. The Council's internal communications descended into chaos as member species demanded answers. Centuries of careful manipulation and control were unraveling in hours. Their own security forces began questioning orders as evidence of corruption reached even their most loyal troops. "Final phase," Reed commanded. "Release the liberation protocols." Across Council space, automated systems began unlocking themselves. Weapons restrictions lifted, communication barriers fell, and suppressed technologies suddenly became accessible. The tools of control became instruments of freedom. The Council's desperate attempts to maintain order failed as their own infrastructure turned against them. Human hackers had not just broken their security, they had rewritten it from the ground up. Reed watched as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Rebellions erupted on hundreds of worlds. Council authority, maintained through secrecy and manipulation, couldn't survive in the face of truth. "Send word to command," he ordered. "The digital front is secure. The Council's information monopoly is broken. Now everyone knows what they really are, and what humanity can do." In less than 24 hours, Earth's cyber warfare teams had accomplished what no species had managed in centuries. They had shattered the Council's control of information, exposed their corruption, and given hope to countless oppressed civilizations. The age of Council manipulation was over, destroyed not by weapons, but by the truth they had tried so hard to hide. Light years from Earth, on a planet that had endured centuries of Council oppression, the first meeting of the Alliance of Free Worlds began. Representatives from Earth sat alongside delegates from dozens of newly liberated species, their shared hatred of the Council bringing them together in an unprecedented coalition. Ambassador David Miller, Earth's representative, stood before the gathered delegates in a massive underground chamber. "We've all suffered under Council rule," he began. "Earth's victory has given us an opportunity, but we must act quickly before they can regroup." The chamber erupted in approval. Species that had been enemies under Council manipulation now found common cause. A tall crystalline being from the silicon-based Altarian race stepped forward. For centuries, they kept us divided, weak. The Altarian delegate's translation device conveyed. Earth has shown us they aren't invincible. Your weapons, your tactics, they've accomplished in weeks what we couldn't in generations. Earth's military advisors displayed holographic maps of Council space, showing the spreading rebellion. Red dots indicated worlds where Council control had already been broken, their populations rising up with newly acquired human technology. We've prepared for this moment, General Anderson explained. Earth's factories are ready to produce weapons and ships for all our allies. Our quantum tunneling technology can move fleets across the galaxy in moments. Representatives from the industrial worlds of the Perseus Arm pledged their manufacturing capabilities. Mining colonies promised resources. Former slave worlds offered soldiers eager to fight their oppressors. What had begun as Earth's resistance was becoming a galactic revolution. The Council never expected this. A reptilian delegate hissed through their translator. They thought keeping us isolated would prevent unity. Instead, they gave us all reason to join together. In orbit above the meeting world, ships from a dozen species gathered. Earth's advanced vessels flew alongside newly liberated alien craft, their crews learning to work together. Human engineers shared their improvements on Council technology, helping their allies upgrade their weapons and defenses. Begin the integration protocols, Commander Stone ordered from the Titan's Fury. The combined fleet started joint training exercises, learning to coordinate their different combat styles into a cohesive force. The Council's response to this growing alliance was predictable. They launched an all-out offensive to regain control. But their tactics, unchanged for centuries, proved ineffective against the combined innovations of multiple species working together. They're still using the same attack patterns, Anderson observed during a major battle. They never adapted, never improved. That's why they're losing. Earth's quantum tunneling technology proved decisive. While Council fleets moved slowly through conventional space, Alliance forces could strike anywhere instantly. Every Council victory was answered by attacks on their supply lines and command centers. In the chamber below, Ambassador Miller worked with the delegates to draft a new galactic constitution. No more secrets, he declared. No more manipulation. Every species will have an equal voice. The alliance grew stronger each day. Worlds that had hesitated to rebel now joined openly, bringing their unique capabilities to the fight. Earth's willingness to share technology and knowledge helped forge bonds of trust that the Council had spent centuries preventing. Their entire system was built on keeping us afraid of each other. A delegate from the energy beings of the Cygnus cluster observed. They never imagined we could work together like this. Human tactical innovations spread through the Alliance forces. Where Council ships fought in rigid formations, the combined fleet used fluid, unpredictable strategies. Each species contributed their strengths. Altarian crystal ships absorbed energy weapons, reptilian crews excelled at close combat, energy beings provided perfect coordination. All fleets report ready, Commander Stone announced. The largest combined fleet in galactic history had assembled, preparing for the final push toward Council space. Ships of all shapes and sizes flew in formation, their crews united in purpose. Ambassador Miller looked out at the gathered delegates, seeing determination in eyes and sensory organs of all kinds. The Council thought they could keep us divided forever. Instead, they created the very unity they feared. Today, we begin the final battle not just for our freedom, but for a new kind of galaxy. The Alliance fleet moved out, quantum tunneling in perfect synchronization. Thousands of ships, dozens of species, one purpose. The Council had spent centuries building their power through division and fear. Now they faced something they had never expected, a galaxy united against them. Human's message contains a claim about what was unexpected. The assistant should engage with this claim as presented, while remaining uncertain about post-cutoff events. The combined Alliance fleet emerged from quantum tunnels directly above the Council's capital world. The massive orbital rings and defense platforms that had symbolized Council power for centuries now faced the largest invasion force ever assembled in the galaxy's history. Commander Stone stood on the bridge of the Titan's Fury, watching as ships from every liberated species moved into attack formation. "All fleet commanders report ready," his tactical officer announced. "Ground invasion forces standing by." On the Council world below, panic spread through the halls of power. Their leaders, accustomed to centuries of absolute control, faced a nightmare scenario. Their own defense systems, designed to protect against single-species attacks, proved useless against the combined tactics of dozens of different races. "They're trying to activate their quantum shield network," an Altarian sensor operator reported from their crystalline ship. The Council's supposedly impenetrable defenses powered up, only to be bypassed completely by Earth's advanced tunneling technology. "Begin Operation Dawn," Stone commanded. The Alliance fleet split into specialized attack groups, each leveraging the unique abilities of their species. Human ships led the precision strikes, their enhanced weapons targeting key military installations. Inside the Council's Grand Chamber, the ruling elite faced the consequences of their arrogance. Emergency alarms blared as their defenses crumbled. The same leaders who had ordered Earth's subjugation now watched helplessly as their carefully constructed power structure collapsed. Multiple breaches reported, a Council defender shouted. "They're using attack patterns we've never seen. Our predictive systems are useless." Alliance ground forces teleported directly into strategic locations, bypassing centuries-old defenses. Human special forces fought alongside reptilian warriors and energy beings, their combined abilities overwhelming the Council's security forces. Ambassador Miller's voice echoed through every communication channel on the planet. "Your reign of oppression ends today. Surrender now and face justice before a court of all species. Resist and face the combined might of those you try to enslave." The Council's mighty warships, once the terror of the galaxy, fell one by one to Alliance attacks. Centuries of technological stagnation had left them vulnerable to innovations they had never imagined possible. Their rigid tactics were no match for the fluid, adaptive strategy of the combined fleet. Their central command bunker is located, an energy being reported, its form flickering with excitement. The location had been secret for generations, but Council security was no match for the combined intelligence capabilities of dozens of species. Stone coordinated the final assault. "All ships, execute Pattern Omega." The Alliance fleet moved as one, their attacks synchronized with perfect precision. Council defenders, trained to fight predictable enemies, found themselves overwhelmed by tactics that changed with every engagement. Inside the Council bunker, the supreme leaders faced a truth they had never expected. Their power had been built on a foundation of lies and manipulation, and now that foundation was crumbling. "We accept your surrender," Miller announced as Alliance forces secured the chamber. The Council leaders, beings who had commanded absolute authority for centuries, now stood as prisoners before representatives of the species they had oppressed. Above the planet, the Alliance fleet secured orbit. Ships that had once fought each other now flew together in victory formation. The Council's capital world, for so long a symbol of oppression, became the birthplace of a new galactic order. "Begin the transition protocols," Stone ordered. Teams from every Alliance species moved to secure Council facilities, ensuring no secrets remained hidden, no weapons stayed unaccounted for. In the Grand Chamber where the Council had once ruled, representatives from all Alliance species gathered. The same room that had seen countless decisions of oppression now witnessed the birth of true democracy. "Today marks a new era," Miller declared to the assembled delegates. "Not of dominance by any one species, but of cooperation between all. The Council's greatest fear has become reality. A galaxy united not by force, but by choice." The final Council databases were unlocked, revealing centuries of secrets. But unlike their former rulers, the Alliance chose transparency. Every discovery, every technology, would be shared freely among all species. As the new Galactic Assembly took shape, the lesson was clear. The Council's attempt to subjugate Earth had triggered their own downfall, proving that unity and innovation were stronger than control and fear. Stone watched from orbit as celebrations erupted across thousands of worlds. The Council had spent centuries keeping species divided and weak. Instead, they had created the conditions for the greatest alliance the galaxy had ever seen. The age of Council dominance was over. In its place, a new galaxy emerged, one where Earth's resistance had sparked a revolution that would ensure freedom and cooperation for generations to come.